Hey guys, welcome today. It is, what is the date today? It is the 5th of May. Wow, 5th of May, 20, look at that, 2018. Someone obviously is copied and pasted from somewhere or else just wasn't thinking. Yeah. So just as a reminder, Friday, I'll be here for 2 more months. Friday. So that's Friday, 2 months. 2 months from Friday will be my last day. So again, if you have any questions, anything you want to work on before I leave, please reach out, book some time with me, whatever it takes, and just make sure we can get some stuff stalled before I go, because I'll probably be traveling a fair bit and won't be answering too much of my own email. So what I wanted to show today is everyone's probably should have by now received an email saying that they've been enrolled in a technology security training. So this is a thing that our security area has done. It's basically they say it takes about 2 hours to do. It's probably actually less than that, but it is a training that is mandatory for full-time faculty and staff. So by all means, make sure you go through it. There's some good information in there. But there is one thing that wasn't brought up in there, and it was something that I read or listened to on a podcast where how they trick people. So I mean, some of us are familiar with the typical scams and stuff like that, and spear phishing. So spear phishing is, I know that this person is the assistant to the director. I will pretend to be the director, sending an email and then convince them that I am the director, in fact. And I've seen a couple of nonprofits that I've worked at. They've gotten fooled by that because someone came in from an email, and the email address might be close. So, let's say that's McEwen, it might be mcewenwebsite.hotmail.com or mcewen.ca.dog.com. So the person has bought dog.com. McEwen.ca is a subdomain. And when you look at it really quickly, you see that first bit of it and you go, oh yeah, that's McEwen, but it's actually not. It belongs to a different domain. And so these guys will buy these domains, hoping that you don't notice the tag end in. Take a look at this URL in here. I mean, this looks like mcewen.ca, right? And if you look at it really quickly, that's exactly what it does look like. But this is a trick that some of them will do. And let me just zoom in a little bit so you can see it. It's actually an R and an N. It is not an M. So this is something that someone could actually go out and buy rnacuan.ca. And I mean, it only costs $15. If it means I can get 2 million off of you, why not? So this is the kind of thing that these fishers and phishing guys do, and these nefarious types will go buy a domain that looks close to ours, and then when they send emails out, hoping you won't notice it. So for example, it looks like it's coming from beckt@mcewen.ca, but it's actually coming from beckt@rnac, blah, blah, blah. So these are the kind of things that you still have to look out for as another layer of protection. It's not addressed in that training, but it's something that I discovered about, I learned about this about 4 years ago, and I'm always keeping an eye out for those kind of things. So how they can combine letters together to get these other kind of things. And this one is especially because McEwen is very easy to do. So just something to keep an eye out for. Going to do a little bit of Google Maps work today because it's been a while since we played with that. First thing is, for those of you that still do snail mail and have to send out postages or stuff, postal codes. You can go to the Canada Post and go look up their postal code piece, but you can actually do that directly in Google Maps. And they've had this on for years, and I've used it for quite a while. But let's say I want to send a package to McEwen. Well, there's the address, and then down here is the full address and the postal code, T5J4S2. So you don't have to go through looking post in Canada Post, which I find sometimes a pain in the butt. This way, you just go right into Google, you get all that information that's in there. Now, there's some other things that people don't realize you can do in Google. I'm just going to make sure I cover everything. So yeah, so measure distance is another thing. So I'm just going to kind of scroll over to here, and I'm going to just see, right click on this part here. So this intersection here. So if I right click on a spot on the map, there's all these things that pop up. So here's the latitude and longitude. Here are how you can get directions from here to a location, and you still have to add the locations or directions to here from a location. What's nearby, what's in this place. But down at the bottom is measure distance. So let's say that I, for the heck of it, like to go for a walk around the campus here. And I'll come through here, and then I'll sneak through here. And there we go. And if I look down here, it tells me that distance there is 1.16 kilometers. So sometimes when you go for a walk, you forget to take your phone or your pedometer or whatever you're using to track, or you just want to try to plan a walk or something. This is a great tool to make sure that you're covering the distance that you want to cover. Google Maps is also, links are also available in Google Docs. So let me just pull over to a different window here for this one. So I could go into Google Maps. I'll just pull this up again, maps.google.com. Come on. And I'm just going to grab that location that I had there. So we'll just go McEwen. Come on, give me, there we are, the results. So if I click on that, this URL that up at the top here will point to there. So I might decide that, you know what, I'm going to build a list of different places that we're going to go to. And I can place the link in there. Google's very good, says, hey, you know what, there is the @McEwen. I can substitute that big long URL for a link. And it basically goes in and puts in this nice little link. What's really cool is that when you mouse over it, it gives you all this information. And I can open it up the preview, which opens up off to the side here. Now so I mean, I can open up Google, do the copy and paste and do it that way. Another way though is off to the right, there's a number of different apps. Actually, let me just close that off so you can see it. And let me zoom in a bit bigger. But off to the bottom right-hand corner, if it doesn't show you the sidebar, there's a little arrow here. And there are some different apps that work within Google Docs. And we've talked about some of them before. You can just have your calendar displayed off to the right, Google Keep, which is great, the tasks, contacts, whatever. But there's Maps. So I go to Maps here, and I'm just going to open this up. And let's say I'm going to do a search for whatever. Let's just use Earls, because we all like to go to Earls. So there's Earls. And when I go to see the details, I can see the address here, and look at that. I can copy it, or guess what? I can just click and drag this over. Come on, work for me. Imagine, if you will, that I clicked and dragged and it worked like it did earlier today. But it would give me just an address, which really isn't all that useful. But instead, what I can do, try this again. Come on. If I click and drag on this item here, just the title bar, notice what happens. It's actually going to create a link just like we saw before, and that gives me that preview. So I don't have to actually have two windows open. I can just work right into here, bob back and forth between the two applications, even though they're on the same screen. So when you're making a full list of things like here are all the different places I'm going to hit when I go to Calgary or whatever, you can make that list here in this document. And we've seen those things before under insert. They come under these, they call them the building blocks. You can put in different things in there. We talked about meeting notes. The other little widgets, like if I do an @ sign, I can put in people's names if I want, that I have my contact list, linking to other elements like files and stuff like that. One of the new things that isn't available yet on in McEwen, but will be probably next week, just like the video chat here. Actually, let's go back to the video chat. The video chat is kind of live on McEwen. You can see the item here, but when I've tried to run it, it's not running yet. So I suspect it's just got to catch up, and by tomorrow it'll be functioning fully. But what I wanted to show you about this that's kind of nice is if I have a Google Meet going, so go meet.new, and I've got this video call going on here. Just let it go here for a second. And we're all talking on stuff in here and that, and I'm working with this. I can go back to this document, whatever document I'm working on, and I can say, you know, I want to work on this document. I'm going to screen share, but I can't see what everyone's faces are doing. I can't see what anyone's looking at. So up top here, and we talked about this last week, I could go and initiate a call. So start it from here, but I can also bring an existing call over. So what it's going to do is in this tab here, it puts this on hold, basically, brings it over to here, reloads the page, and now the same video call, but now I can work in the document. I can see what everyone's doing still. So I don't have to have those kind of hidden away. If I need to, there is a pop-out window. Come here, come back. It's here somewhere. There's a pop-out window here. Normally there's a little icon up in the top here. When you click on it, it pops the window back out into a blank tab or a blank screen there. Not sure why it's not showing up today, because people are watching me. That's why it does that. Makes me look silly. But yes, you can go ahead and have that meeting there and run with that. So let's go back for a second. We talked about these items here. One new thing that not, again, available in the personal, probably next week will be available at McEwen, is the ability to insert drop downs. And this is kind of cool. I can create, or it comes with some standard ones. So there's a review status, so not started, in progress, under review, yes, no, a launch status. And so you just click on that and it puts that drop down menu in here. So it started to take this Google Doc and make it work more like a little bit like a spreadsheet without having to do a lot of work on it. And what's nice is that I can go in and insert one, and if it's not one that's existing, I can create my own. So I'll create my own in here. So we'll just call it animals. And I'm going to go horse, dog. See if I can spell dog correctly. I can pick whatever colors I want for each of these items as they're selected. And I'll save that. So there's this piece here. And when I click and drop on it, there I can just quickly select whatever item I want. What's also nice is if I'm going to use this more than once, just like you would yes, no, I can just copy and paste that anywhere in the document. Now, unfortunately, at this point, you can't copy this from one document to another. So, for example, if I had a drop down of all the programs at McEwen, that'd be great for that one document. I would have to recreate that every time. But I suspect that's something that Google will fix and make that work properly. But now we've got these quick drop downs. We can take our documents. We can do all sorts of tables and stuff. Under the insert item, we've looked at building blocks before about how you can put your meeting notes in there or draft an email if you've got if we had access to Gmail, which we don't as staff and faculty. But they've added these new ones in here, a product roadmap. And that's basically giving me the columns here and put in already some of these statuses. And you notice there's actually 4 or 5 of them. I just put the other ones here. So there's my review one. There's for files, there's my different, I think this is the product review. So you can put those, paste that in. You can rename it, call it whatever you want. But the nice thing is you've got a starting point that you can work with here. I could change this to name, so I'm just going to do that. And as I put these in, I use the @ sign, and I'm going to put in, okay, well, there's Trevor, so we'll just throw him in there. So I put that name in. Again, with these smart widgets, what's cool is when you mouse over it, there's all the detailed information. So if I need to send Trevor an email, do a chat with him, start a live call, calendar appointment, I can do that right away. Related files are exactly the same thing. I do the @ sign. If I know what the name of the file is, I start typing in it. Come on, Trevor. Oh, it's not in here. Let's call it testing. And there's the name. There's files that I can put links in. So when I click on that, there's again is a link. I put my mouse over, I get a little preview in there. So this is kind of really handy because now we can really speed things up. We've got these drop downs, we've got these live links, and we can start reducing the hunting back and forth, copy and pasting kind of thing. I quite like where this is starting and where it could go. I think there's going to be some really neat use cases for it. Oh, there's a chat. Let me just see if there's any question there. Will he select dog? Apparently, no. That had to be Troy. Okay. Let's see. What else was I going to talk about today? Whoops. Come back. Talked about merge, drop downs. Oh, loops and team meetings. So I'm going to pull over the chat. So we talked about loops before. Loops is with the ability, and I'm going to pull this over here. Loops is this little icon here. Normally we see that in a regular chat, but even in the meeting chat that we're doing right now, you can start entering loops in. So I could put in a bulleted list, checklist, numbered list, all these types here. And this is a little widget that gets put into our chat that all of us who are in this chat can go in and update. So if I wanted to say, you know, let's put in some lunch ideas, I might do that as a checklist, and everyone could put in their stuff. It's kind of like a dumbed down online document, right? It's not a full-on Microsoft Word document or a Google document. It's just a little widget that does this one little thing that everyone has access to. One of the challenges, though, when using that stuff is trying to find them. Sometimes they display really nicely in the chat and there's a link to click on. That works out great. Sometimes it doesn't. These files typically, at this point, are somewhere on either OneDrive or SharePoint. And so unfortunately, when you go in and look under the filters or stuff like that, you can't find a file type called loop or widget. But the file name is actually .fluid, .fluid. And so if you just do a search for that, there are all the different loops that I've used in the past associated with different chats and stuff. So that's one way that I can go and find that information that I want to play with. I can just do a search that way. Hopefully, as they further develop the search and stuff, and as they develop these tools, because they are fairly new, they will get that so it'd be a choice that we could search for easily enough. And that's it for that. And then the last thing I want to talk about is a piece in spreadsheets that is awesome. So with spreadsheets, I've got the spreadsheet here, and here I've got a different columns. Okay, so I've got these different assets that I have to create. So I have to create emails, landing pages, images. This is all stuff associated with Eloqua. And so I have to create a folder for each of these items. So I need a folder for all the emails because it's in a separate place. I have landing pages has its own folder, images has a folder, et cetera, et cetera. So what I've done is I've gone in here and I have created a formula that as I fill stuff in, it automatically creates all this stuff. Now, let's say, for example, though, if I take this, copy this row, and I'm going to paste this row somewhere else. So I'm just going to go to here and I'm going to paste it. Where's my paste? Just paste it. Okay, give me a second. Do it by hand. There we go. Notice what's happened here. Oh, some of it works. Sometimes it doesn't work. And this is usually not one of those times. That's weird. Oh, I know why. So let me just instead, I don't want the first two. I'm gonna grab these items here just for the heck of it. And I'll go back to here and I'll paste it in. And I get these error messages because it's looking for columns. It's actually looking for B2, but I didn't capture that. I didn't need that. I only wanted this other stuff. And so it ends up breaking. And sometimes you'll get formulas in there that you don't want. So when you're copying something, a better way to do this, I'll just copy this again, is use paste special. This is available in Excel as well as Google Sheets here. But under edit, we're going to do a paste special. And we want values only. That means if there is a formula that is used to create all this, the results, I don't want the formula. I want you to type the words. And when I paste it, that's exactly what I get. When we click in here, there's no formula showing here whatsoever. So that's a really handy piece of information to be able to make work with, knowing that the stuff breaks, I don't have to try and update it. Now, paste special, you use that all the time. And the nice thing about that is sometimes you may want to do this thing here. So I'm going to grab this whole row just for the heck of it. So I'll copy it. I want to paste it, but I don't want it bolded. I just want regular text. And so when I go paste special, it says values only, not the format that goes along with it. So there it is, all the same stuff, just without the bolding done. So I don't have to manually go through and do all that kind of stuff. Now, sometimes when we create these, whoops, let me just do this one more time. Nope, go back this way. Let me just paste again, paste special. Sometimes we have a column this way, but we actually want it to go down instead. So people will go copy, paste, excuse me, and make their way down so that they have columns and stuff. There is a function under that edit special called transpose. Excuse me, transpose. Guess what? If it's horizontal, make it vertical. If it's vertical, make it horizontal. That's what it means. And when I go and paste it, there it is. Everything is exactly like I had. Now there's some formatting that was in there before. That's why I picked it up. Let me just do it over here. Paste special, transposed. Oh, it's not going to clear it out. So, but there is, saves me a lot of time with all that data that's gone down this way. So I don't have to do that. There's also a function called transposed, equal transpose. I'm not going to do too much on that, but it does exactly the same thing. Transpose, what's the array? I'm going to do this stuff here. So I'll do A to J. The nice thing about using the transpose function is if I change something here, 1, 2, 3, 4, it automatically changes here. So the function basically just says in live time, grab whatever I've asked to grab and just make it here. So, and you'll find there are times where you might have columns this way, but you want to use this as a drop-down menu as well, but that's how the sorting goes. That's what I use this quite often for. So you can mix and match your information, doesn't matter what it's set at. And as soon as I change anything here, it's automatically going to update there. So transpose, whether it's pay special or the function, lots of stuff you can do with it. Any questions on anything that I've done? Okay. Oh, and Troy's made a note here in the chat that under paste special, he uses Control / to remove all formatting. That would be in Excel, I assume. I'm not sure what it. I'm sure there's a shortcut command in Sheets. I just haven't learned it. But good to know. Thanks, Troy. Okay, that's it. Then I'm going to stop the recording. I'm trying to stop the recording. Come on, mouse.